All right, let's try that again. Sorry, everyone. Good morning. I'm your host here, Bill Barhydt. Welcome to Money Talks. Hopefully you can all hear me now. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about today. So I'm going to do a little bit of the AMA first because there's a lot of burning questions about the Abra app and what's going on with ID verification, especially for some of our international users. So I'm going to address that first. And then I want to take a step back and I'll talk about some of your other questions about what's going on with the price and, inflation and all this other talk that's going on. All right, so let's talk about the ID verification first. All right, so you probably saw the emails. Hopefully you saw the emails. You really should subscribe to Abra update emails, which you can do from our homepage. And provide your correct email address inside the app. This way you get notified of all these updates and it's clear what's going on and why. All right, so as of yesterday or 2 days ago, if you have not finished ID verification inside the app, you cannot transact. There's a simple solution for this. You go into the app and you follow the process for ID verification. And it will ask you to upload your ID, take a selfie, and there's other steps as well. But basically, this is what you need to do. Now, this is basically a mandated process. Okay, we are legally required to do this. To be very clear. All right. Now, a few things. One, you only get 3 attempts. The number 3 attempts to verify your ID, upload your ID. After that, it won't let you try again until you go to support. You would need to send an email to support@abra.com and tell them that you were unable to get your ID upload to work. And the reason that you only get 3 attempts is that we have to pay, I think it's like several dollars every time you attempt, okay? Because we have an outside company that actually helps us verify the ID. They don't store your information, but they actually provide the technology for doing that. And so if you tried 100 times, it would cost us hundreds of dollars to verify your ID. So at that point, our support team will step in and help you figure this out. Okay, so let me repeat that. If you have a problem, if you have a problem verifying your ID, you need to send an email to support. Now, I know that some of you have been waiting on support, and this is the reason, because we have hundreds of thousands of users who need to update their ID. That's why we notified you weeks ago to hopefully do this sooner. All right, now I promise you, we will get to all of the support requests. I promise you. It will take us a while to funnel through them, okay? So the best thing you can do, right, if you're stuck, is to try again. If you have no balance in your wallet and you're totally stuck and the ID verification didn't work, you can delete the app and start over, but that's up to you, okay? Now, I've looked at the statistics on our user base, and well over 90% of you who have gone through ID verification have gone through it successfully. So that means that, a few percent of you are having an issue either because you're using the wrong ID type. We support very specific ID types. So passport is always the easiest. In the US, you can use a driver's license. Many government IDs. I know we have lots of users in Asia, so different types of government IDs will normally work. Your library card will not work. Your shopping card will not work. Okay, so these are government issued IDs. So if you help yourself at the beginning by getting the right ID ready, the process will be much faster for you. Okay. All right. So hopefully that helps. And again, if you're having issues with the ID verification, then please send an email to support@abra.com, and the team will help you. And again, please be patient with us. We have some long lines of people who are waiting for their ID verification concerns to be addressed. Okay, and I promise you, that we will get to them. Now, as we said in the support email we sent you, if you didn't finish ID verification by May 26th, which was 2 days ago, you won't be able to transact in the app until you finish, okay? You can still do the ID verification, you just won't be able to do anything in the Abra app. If you are locked out and you don't see the ID verification, or you never have, it may be, in most cases, that you're running an old version of the Abra app, particularly on Android, where sometimes it doesn't auto-update the app, okay? So you need to go into the iPhone App Store or the Google Play Store, and please make sure that you're running the most recent version of the app. So I'll repeat that. If you're not running the most recent version of the Abra app, it may not let you update your ID or upload your ID or take the selfie, okay? So please do that first, update to the latest version, go through the ID verification process, and well more than 90% of you have had no problem with this process. For the few percent of you who have had concerns or issues, send us an email to support@abra.com. If you have a process question, you can ask it here in the chat, and either myself or one of our team members who are also participating in the chat will be able to help you with a response, okay? And as I said, please be patient with us. We are highly backed up on support requests. We normally get a few thousand a day, but we've been getting tens of thousands, okay? So it will take us some time to work through them to get back to you, and we're trying to filter them to make sure that those of you who can't transact get a response first, okay? Again, I apologize that you have to go through this. It's not our choice. The government requires us, every government basically requires us to put you through some form of ID verification process, okay? So every service, if you've opened a bank account, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They more or less all do the same thing. Crypto is no different, okay? So yeah, so hopefully that helps. And if you go into the App Store, it will show you the latest version. Somebody was asking what the latest version is. So you see at the bottom of the screen, this is on iOS. You can see here, you probably can't read it, it's too small. It says Abra app version 98.2. Now that's iOS. I don't know if the number is the same on Android. I don't have my Android phone turned on right now. So it should tell you in the App Store, but the easiest way to deal with that, Bradley's out, or whoever it was that asked, is simply go into the App Store and make sure that you have the correct version of the app, and if you do, it will say your app is up to date. Okay. Somebody asked if we support Huawei mobile phones. My understanding is we should be able to support any modern Google Android phone. Okay. So hopefully that answers that question. I'm going to take a few questions first this week, and let me also clarify. If your ID has been verified and you're able to transact, you're good to go. Okay, this only applies if the app is telling you that you need to do it, and you should only need to do it one time, or if you did it a while ago, it may ask you now. After that, you're done. Okay, you shouldn't need to do it ever again. Okay, unless some laws change. All right, so as long as the law stays the same, we should be able to all transact without having to do this again. So this is a one-time thing. It's not like we're going to be doing this over and over again. I know it's a little annoying, and it's just the way it goes. I mean, we follow the law, right? And the law right now says we need to update and check IDs. So that's what we do. All right. So again, happy to answer more questions. If there's anything I'm saying that's not clear, that's why I'm here, is to help clarify any questions that you might have. Let's see. So Benny asks, can you have two Abra accounts draw out of the same bank account? Benny, you can't have two active Abra accounts for the same person. But if they're different people who share the same bank account, right? For example, let's say you have an account that you share with your wife, and you each have different Abra wallets, you should both be able to link the same bank account. to deposit money into Abra or to withdraw out of Abra. That shouldn't be a problem. So Mike asks, how can we tell if our ID submission is complete? Mike, if the app lets you transact, you're good to go. That's it. If you get an error when you try to deposit or exchange and it says, oops, try again later, that's probably because your ID verification isn't finished. If you go back to the home page in Abra Trade, right? So here you see my balance at the top of the screen. At the top of the screen, it will ask you to upload your ID. If you don't see that, you're probably good to go. Okay, so that's all you need to know. All right. Okay, so yeah, so let's see what else. So somebody was asking a question about the 60-day hold when you deposit funds. Let me explain that. And this is a U.S. specific question. Okay, if you are outside the U.S. and you deposit Bitcoin or altcoins or stablecoin, or if you go to an Abra teller and deposit cash, for example, okay, there's no hold. You can withdraw your money the same day, the same hour, usually, okay? So in the US, there's two ways to deposit from your bank account. One is via bank wire, and the other is via ACH. If you use ACH, you can transact on your deposit. You can exchange into Bitcoin, you can exchange into Ethereum, you can exchange back to dollars, you can deposit into Abra Earn. You just can't withdraw back to your bank account for 60 days. And that's because of all of the bank fraud associated with ACH. However, if you wire money from your bank account, you can wire the money back out the next day. It's no problem. There's no hold on your funds, okay? Once the funds land in your account, you can immediately wire them out. If you buy Bitcoin, you can immediately move the Bitcoin out. The only time there's a hold is if you use ACH. And if you're going to use Abra with large amounts of money, let's say more than $10,000, you should definitely use a bank wire. It's easier, it's less hassle, and you have more flexibility with the money. We don't want to have the hold in place. Again, it's due to bank fraud. And more services in crypto are going to be moving towards this longer hold because of all of the fraud in the US associated with ACH. So for example, Venmo has this problem, and lots of other service providers have this problem with ACH in the US. Okay, so that's a US specific issue. Hopefully that makes sense. Is a UK driving license okay for an ID? AAA, I believe it is. If you try it and it doesn't work, then you can try a passport. But as I recall, a UK driving license should be okay. All right. So, yeah. So Ricardo, yeah, the KYC has something to do with just registering for your account and has nothing to do with the 60-day ACH issue, okay? That's a US bank specific issue. Elaine, I think I'm saying your name right, asks, is there an agent in my country in the Philippines to cash in and out instantly in real time? Yes, they're referred to as Abra tellers. If you're in a country like the Philippines has them, and we have Abra tellers, if you go to the add money screen, and so you should on my phone see the add money screen. Now, I'm not in the Philippines like you, Elaine, so I don't have it on my screen, but on your screen, you're gonna see deposit cash. You click on the deposit cash button and it will show you or tell you where you can go to deposit cash via an Abra teller. And we have Abra tellers all over the world, Southeast Asia, like in the Philippines, Central America, like in Guatemala now, in the Middle East, India. So they're coming up in more and more countries, and you simply find them directly in the Abra app. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. All right, let's see. Yeah, so again, if I'm still getting a lot of these questions, all right? If you are not able to verify your ID and you've tried 3 times, you won't be able to try again, okay? In that case, you need to send an email to support@abra.com. All right. So C. White asks, can I set up 2 Abra accounts, a revocable living trust account, and a self-directed IRA LLC? What are the instructions on how to do this? This is also a US specific question, and the answer is yes, you can. So if you send an email, I'll have to get back to the email address. I believe if you go to our Platinum webpage and click on the link in our Platinum webpage, there is, let me see if I can find it for you while I'm talking. There is a link for you to basically send your email address, and it is on the top of the webpage, you'll see a sign, a link to OTC services, okay? All you basically do is fill out the form for Abra Platinum at the bottom of the OTC services page on abra.com, and I'll have the team put it in the chat. Or I'll do it myself, actually. Give me a second here. So hbs://abra.com, and then click on OTC services at the top menu. All right, and at the bottom of that page, you fill out the form, and we will get back to you via the team to give you the onboarding forms for your self-directed trust and the business account that you need. All right, so again, if you have not gotten a response to your original support request, do not submit a new ticket. You can reply to the original response you got, but please don't submit a new ticket. It won't help, okay? So Elaine, if you go to a pawn shop, it must be listed in the Abra app, okay? And if you're going to a place that's not listed in the Abra app, they won't be able to help you, okay? Let's see. Ralph said he needed to upgrade his phone. Sorry for that, but I'm glad you got a new phone. And let's see. Let me take a break from the KYC ID verification discussion here, and talk a little bit about some of the questions I'm getting regarding the price action and inflation. Okay, so before we get too far into that, let's just take a look at a couple of things, right? So, the first thing is what's going on with inflation, and I'm going to backtrack and talk about why this is so important for crypto, right? Why this narrative of inflation is rearing its ugly head is so critical to Bitcoin, right? So a few days ago we saw, and this is from Dan Held, and if you don't subscribe to Dan's newsletter, you really should. It's Dan Held is on Substack, and you can find him, or Dan Held on Twitter. So this chart basically shows we had a huge spike, right? We basically went from 0% inflation to 4% in less than a year. And if you look at the chart, it basically looks like it wants to go higher, right? The trend is this thing looks like it wants to go, up, all right? This is not good news, right? Now, in the 1970s, we had inflation that, peaked at about 13%. And I'm guessing real inflation for many was much higher, right? This was the kind of Jimmy Carter era where we had oil embargoes and lots of other, and the price of oil skyrocketed, which really had a dramatic effect on price inflation. That's oil itself wouldn't have as much of an impact on price inflation today, but printing 50% of the money supply in 2 years would have a significant effect eventually on price inflation. Now, why does this matter, right? Well, let's look at what happens when you basically print an infinite amount of money. Now, we have lots of examples of this throughout history, right? We went back to, Dan wrote about this, went back to the Weimar Republic in the 1920s in Germany, and saw what happened to the value of gold as it was measured in the German marks, which was the currency at the time. And you can see that from 1920 to 1923, the price of gold went from basically $10 all the way, went from 10 marks all the way up to, let's see, what do we have here? 1,000 million billion, a trillion marks. Okay, so basically you're now in hyperinflation mode at that point. And he overlaid on top of that, right, where we are today with the value of Bitcoin in dollars, which you see on the left, right? And it looks like it's showing the the current pullback notwithstanding, on a log chart, it looks pretty damn similar. Now, this is scary stuff. Now, this is why we've always said that Bitcoin is the perfect inflation hedge, because you can make an infinite number of dollars, but you can't make an infinite amount of Bitcoin. So in theory, as the number of dollars in circulation goes up, the value of each Bitcoin should go up correspondingly. And so that's what you see here in theory with gold, and what in theory what might happen with Bitcoin. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that while that price of gold looks like it was going up, it wasn't really that simple. The red represents the percent change on a monthly basis during this time on the price of gold. So while on a macro level it looks like it was up and to the right on the chart, the price had wild swings, right? You can see negative, price changes on a monthly basis, and then eventually it was going up over 100% a month. So this is what happens when you have these periods of extreme volatility and periods of extreme money printing leading to extreme price inflation. Now, we're not there yet in the United States. We don't have Weimar-like price inflation, but we're moving in the direction of a government capitulation towards no currency stabilization whatsoever, right? The idea that the government would value a stable currency, it just doesn't seem to factor at all in anyone's thinking, okay? So again, there's no guarantee. I'm not saying that we're gonna have hyperinflation in the United States. What I am saying is that history leaves clues, and if we move towards a model of 1970s price inflation, I think hard assets like Bitcoin, like real estate, like certain stocks are going to explode in value. Okay, and the Wall Street Bets groups are at it again. You see, probably seen this AMC stock with a huge price run up the last few days, and it just seems to be going up as well. So just be aware that this is happening, and while there's no guarantee as to what this is going to lead to, it does look like there's a pretty good chance that it's going to lead to some type of price inflation in the 10% range in the near future. Now, a lot of people will tell you that hasn't happened yet, but if you talk to home builders, home buyers, people who rely on certain types of commodities, precious metals, phone manufacturers, other electronics manufacturers, car manufacturers who rely on certain types of semiconductors, they will tell you that their cost basis is going through the roof. Not 4%, not even 10%. Okay, we're talking about significant price appreciation right now. So I don't know where this is going to end, but unless something changes, it's not going to end well for a lot of people. Okay, Bitcoin and now Ethereum, in my opinion, represent the perfect hedge against both of those two phenomena. Okay, price inflation and then ultimately currency inflation. All right, so that's my kind of overall reading of the basic tea leaves. Ralph says, "Let's go AMC." So again, I don't really have a strong opinion on this, except my point is that look, you can pick your favorite Wall Street Bets stock, and I'm not saying that you should put your life savings in it, but it's got a pretty good chance of seeing a massive run up because basically people perceive the cash they're holding as worthless. So if they don't know what else to do, you're going to see a lot of people doing things like this. Just be very, very careful about it. All right. Robert asks, Stan Held talks a lot about the super cycle, where it's likely that we won't get an 80 to 90% drawdown again. Yes, that's true. I'm not sure yet how I feel about that. I think in a super volatile market, you can see extreme drawdowns. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it does seem more and more likely that we're headed towards the extreme volatility to the upside. And it will make what's happening now seem like child's play, right? If we get to the point where Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up 50-60% a month, which I actually think is possible. I'm not saying I'm not counting on it, but I do think it's possible. Okay. Let's see some other questions. So, how about 7-Eleven? Can I use that for depositing? I think the question is about the Philippines, and the answer is yes, you can. Again, the Abra app should give you a good overview of what's available. There's also an Abra Philippines user group, and they answer a lot of questions amongst the community. So they'll give you good insights as to what they've been doing. And I love that group because they really answer a lot of questions. And then we have the Abra group, the Facebook group for the US crowd as well. And a lot of our international users also use that. What is the best way to transfer funds from Canada? Asks, I think it's Giles. I hope I'm saying that right. Or Gillis or Giles, I'm not sure. So let me talk about that for a second. All right. So I'm going to bring up abra.com here. Let me see. Hopefully you can see this. Okay. All right. So on the web page, you see this buy Bitcoin button. All right. So what you can do, so let's say that you're in Canada and you don't have money in the Abra app. This is pretty cool. So you can change your country here to CA. Now you see all the countries we support. Huge list of countries. You just find your country code, right? So you've got, let's see, GB's there for Great Britain, FR for France. We've got DE for Germany, and we're looking for CA for Canada. So there's CA for Canada, right? So I'm going to change my currency to be Canadian dollars. So let's say I want to buy $500 worth of True USD. I think we support True USD in here. So I'm going to scroll all the way down and look for TUSD. Look at all these cryptos we support. All the way down, 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 down. And there is TUSD. So I want to buy 500 Canadian dollars of TUSD. Right? I click buy TUSD now. Right? And remember, there's an exchange rate between Canadian dollars and US dollars. I don't remember what the rate is. It shows you here. So this shows me all of the ways that I can pay to get my Canadian dollars into the Abra app as True USD. Okay? What I do is now, it's very simple. So watch this. It's pretty cool. So I go back into my Abra app. So let me come back here. And I need a wallet address for my True USD. So at the top of the screen, see where it says add money? I press add money. I press deposit cryptocurrency. Now, from the Abra webpage, I'm going to buy True USD. So let's say I'm going to deposit with my Canadian credit card, or I'm going to do an Interac transfer, which is a bank transfer in Canada. I need a True USD wallet address. So I scroll to the bottom under True USD. I click the True USD button, and I'm going to copy the address. Okay, so I come back over here, right, and I choose Interac. I'm going to go back to my web page now, so give me a second. So you see on my web page, I changed the payment method to Interac. Oh, so that's an unsupported pair. So let me try my Apple Pay. Maybe that works. Okay, so now I can buy with Apple Pay. All right, so I'm going to paste that True USD address that I just pasted from the other page. I'm going to click buy now, and it's going to, let me it's either going to give me the instructions to deposit via my bank account for Interac or Apple Pay. It didn't work for me because I'm based in the US, but since you're based in Canada, you should be able to use Interac for your transfer, which is like your ACH from there. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me see here. I think we've got some other questions. People asking for SHIB. So no announcement yet on SHIB, but hopefully that's something that it's something we're looking at. No guarantees as to when we're going to have it. So Peter asks, if I'm in New York, can I open an Abra account with a Delaware LLC? Yes, same answer as before. Go to abra.com, click on OTC, scroll down, provide your details, your contact information, and we'll get in touch with you on opening up a business account for your LLC. Good question. And let's see. June, yes, I am the founder of Abra. So questions about whether we're going to be relisting XRP. XRP is available in the Abra app outside the US, but not inside the US. And like I said last week, there's no timeline yet for adding it back in the US. It's partially a regulatory issue because of this fight between the SEC and the Ripple company. And I believe our custody partners are waiting to see how that plays out. But if you're outside the US, you should be good to go. All right, so let's see, we've got some other questions here. All right, so a couple of you are asking, what's the easiest way to get started with Abra? So I'm going to just quickly show you, let me go back to my home screen here. I'm going to quickly show you how to get started. So basically, there's 3 ways that most people get started with Abra. So the first time you start the app, now you have to go through the ID verification that we talked about. You take a picture of your ID, it's going to ask you to do a selfie where you look at your phone, and you'll get all that done. Okay, once you get that done, okay, you're going to want to add money to the app, right? And so if you already have crypto, so let's say you use Coinbase or OKX, or maybe you use CoinsPH if you're in Asia, and you want to transfer that to Abra, you simply go to the Add Money button, and you click on Deposit Cryptocurrency, and you choose which crypto you're going to be transferring from Coinbase or that other service to Abra, and you paste the address in the other app to withdraw the funds. Hopefully that makes sense. Very simple. So if, let's say I'm going to deposit my Bitcoin from Coinbase, I choose Bitcoin from the menu. It gives me my deposit address. This is like getting an email address so somebody can send you an email. Well, now I have my email address. I have to give the other party my email address so they can send me the email. Well, now I have to give the other party my Bitcoin address so they can send me Bitcoin. So I'm going to copy this address, right? I'm going to paste it into Coinbase wallet, and I can transfer the funds. So that's if I already have crypto, okay? If I don't have crypto, let's say I only have money in a bank account and I want to get into Abra. Well, now it depends on which country you're in, okay? If you're inside the US, you simply go into the app and press Add Money, and it will show you the options you have inside the US. If you want to use Bank ACH or Bank Wire Transfer, you simply press one of those. If you want to use Bank ACH, you can add a new bank account. Okay, I'm going to pick up my phone here. You can add a new bank account, and we use a service called Plaid. If you've ever used Venmo or PayPal or a bunch of other financial services, you've probably used Plaid before. It connects your bank account to your Abra account to easily transfer money without sharing any bank details with Abra. You're not giving Abra any bank details. All Plaid is doing is verifying that it's your bank account in order to pull funds out when you request it, okay? And so you simply type in your login and password. Again, you're not giving it to Abra. It's going directly to the bank to verify who you are, all right? So I'm gonna delete this bank because I didn't want to add it. Now, if you're adding more than a few $1,000s, like let's say you want to deposit $100,000 into Abra, the easiest way to do it is press Bank Wire Transfer. Press Bank Wire Transfer, and it's going to give you deposit instructions. It's very important that you follow these instructions exactly, okay? See at the bottom it says Final Credit to Account. That goes in the notes field. Just follow the instructions exactly. We get millions upon millions of dollars of people sending bank wires. It's very easy. Lots of your peers are doing it. Now this works anywhere in the world, not just the US. So if you're in the UK or Canada or in Singapore or in Germany and you want to send $100,000 to Abra, this is the way to do it. You press Bank Wire Transfer, you follow the instructions, and you wire the funds to Abra. Okay. So now, let's say that I showed you the Interact instructions before. Now, let's say that you want to use, you're in the UK, and you want to use Faster Pay to send money to Abra. Okay, so let's take a look on how we might do that, all right? So I'm gonna come back here to the Abra homepage. You go to abra.com and you see there's a buy widget. So let's say that I wanna buy some Bitcoin and deposit it directly into my Abra wallet. How do I do that? And I'm in the UK, right? In the UK, you have a payment system called FasterPay, which is like a better version of our ACH in the US because it settles very, very quickly. In the Abra app, it should settle in a few minutes, okay? Whereas ACH in the US might settle in a few hours or in a day, all right? So again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change my country to be GB for Great Britain here. Should be there, yep. And I'm gonna change my currency to be GBP, which is pounds, okay? And I'm gonna tell the system that I wanna buy 500 pounds, all right? So that's how much Bitcoin I get for my 500 pounds. And I tell the system that I want to buy Bitcoin now. Okay, and let's see. So if I change my method to be FasterPay, right, it should tell me how much I get. Now this is pretty cool. We use different service partners, and each one gives you a slightly different price. So you can choose, right? In this particular instance, I get the most Bitcoin if I use MoonPay over here via FasterPay. So now I'm going to press buy now. Now I need my Bitcoin wallet address. Super simple, right? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go, excuse me. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go back to my Abra app. Just give me 1 second here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to come out of here. Now I'm going to go back to my Abra app. I need to put my Bitcoin wallet address into that FasterPay buy process. So I'm going to go into add money, deposit cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, right? I'm going to copy the Bitcoin address, and then I'm going to come back here to my my buy screen, and I'm going to paste the address. Now don't use this address because you're going to be sending me Bitcoin. You have to use your own address, okay? I'm going to press buy now, okay? And now I'm going to get a process to register with MoonPay. Okay, I'm going to basically go through this process. I'm going to get a code in my email. I'm going to put it in here. At the end of that process, it's going to give me instructions to go into my bank account to send the money in order to get my Bitcoin onto the Abra wallet. So it's super simple, okay? So again, just go to abra.com if you're in another country outside the US, and you can deposit money from basically almost any country in the world using credit card, debit card, FasterPay if you're in the UK, SEPA if you're in Europe, lots of different, if you're in Australia, we have like 6 different payment types, including cash even, where you can go into a cash outlet and drop off cash. So the abra.com site is getting better and better and better to link your bank account back to the Abra app and deposit money from all over the world. So I hope that little tutorial helps. It's super cool. We invested a lot of time and money in this, and hopefully, yeah. All right. So again, more questions on Shiba. I can't pre-announce anything relating to future cryptocurrency listings inside the Abra app. I'm not allowed to do that. We are looking at Shiba, but I have nothing to announce at this point. So I apologize for that. There, if you go into the add currency function, right, and you search for Shiba, right, and you say, it says I can't find what I'm looking for, right? You can say request asset on Abra, and if I type in Shiba, okay, right, submit request, I'm actually sending a request to Abra, right, that they add this crypto to the app. And so then our team will know that lots of you are interested, right? So Quinn is asking for a referral program. Quinn, that is a great request. So I can't give too much away right now, except not only are we going to bring you eventually a referral program, but we're going to do it in a way that I think is going to blow your mind, okay? So it's coming in the future, nothing to say right now. So Works Forever says, why is there no web app for Abra? Works Forever, you can paste the address onto the phone. So if you go to abra.com, let me go back to my phone here. Let me bring up a new web page. I'm going to go to abra.com. Right, so you can just literally do it directly from the phone. So the demo I just did, you can do directly on the phone. So you can get a deposit address for Bitcoin. If, let's say, you're in, I don't know, pick a country, you're in Mexico, and you want to do a SPAY transfer into Abra, all you do is paste the address here and choose the payment method in Mexico, and the Bitcoin is going to show up in your Abra app, and you never left your phone. So you can do it directly from the phone. Right? I was just using the web page because it was a bigger screen, but doing it from the phone works fine. I do it all the time. The other thing I do all the time is I use Apple Pay, right? Because it basically it goes so fast, right? So if I want to buy Bitcoin now via Apple Pay, right? I'm going to show you how fast I can do it. Right, so I'm gonna basically, just choose. I'm gonna choose Apple Pay here. All right, I'm gonna type in my wallet address. Click Buy Now. Right, I'm gonna click that I agree with the terms of service. Oop. Sending the code. This is just to verify my phone number. Got it. And so I'm not gonna do this right now because you all are watching my personal email. So I get the code, I do the Apple Pay checkout, which is the next step, and boom, the Bitcoin is on my phone. I do that demo all day long because it literally, in 2 minutes, I've bought Bitcoin, it's on my phone. I used Apple Pay. I didn't have to type in a credit card number. It's so cool. It's so slick, and the fees are actually pretty reasonable now. So I like that approach, and you should give it a try. All right. And we also support Android Pay, by the way. So let's see. So we've got some other questions. Still getting questions on ID verification because I'm guessing some of you joined late. So you probably want to go back after the show and watch from the beginning, and you'll be able to get all of your questions answered. Right. So Doug says, Bill, by the way, I love all the new ads I'm seeing from Abra. Thank you, Doug. So Doug, I haven't seen the ads out on the web yet. I see them before we post them, but for some reason I'm not seeing them. But I'm glad that some of you are. It could be based upon your geography. We're spending a lot of time on that. We're really trying to get the word out on Abra. One of the reasons why we're thinking about this referral program that somebody else was asking about before. Somebody else was asking about a web version of the app. So this is a very common request. The vast majority of you are what we call mobile first, which means that you prefer to work on a phone. And that's like literally when we survey users, it's like 80+%. But particularly for those of you like me, maybe a little older, I would like to work on a web interface every once in a while. So it's something that we're looking at to bring you for the future would be to go to abra.com. So in addition to buying crypto on abra.com, like I just showed you, right? So here's the buy screen that I showed you before. You could also, just go to abra.com and you would be able to transact, and hopefully there would be like a login button to your Abra wallet from here. So it's something we're looking at. For now, you can use abra.com to buy Bitcoin, buy different cryptocurrencies, and hopefully in the future there'll be other ways to use Abra via the web, but it's something we're looking at for sure. All right, so let me see here. Let me go back to the questions. There's a couple other things I want to talk about in a minute, but let's see. I see a lot of you are helping each other in the chat. That's pretty cool. We are working on auto buys, so I'm giving too much away. My team is going to yell at me. I apologize. But some people saying, are we going to have recurring buys? Meaning, can I set up Abra to buy my Bitcoin every week or every month or every quarter? And the answer is yes. I actually want that, right? We call that dollar cost averaging. And again, sorry for the the US centric term, but it's a US investment term that we invented for basically not having to worry about the dips in price because you're putting in money at regular intervals, right? So you're averaging your price over time. And so that dollar cost averaging feature is one of the most common requests we get, and it's coming. I'm really excited about that. I've seen the design for it. It looks really good, and I'm excited that the team is going to bring it to you soon. Let me see other great questions. Let's see. Somebody asked if we support Puerto Rico. Yes, we do. It's in the app. So if if you live in Puerto Rico and you have a local government ID or a passport, you should be totally fine. Let's see. Do you have support for the Caribbean islands? Victor asks. Well, yes. We have lots of users in the Caribbean. I actually have a lot of friends that live in the Caribbean now for tax reasons or whatever, and most of them are using Abra. They love Abra Earn. So let me segue that into an Abra Earn discussion. So very common. I mentioned that you can deposit crypto into Abra, and one of the most common things people do when they deposit crypto into Abra is move it over to Abra Earn. So as I said earlier, you can click on Add Money at the top, and you can click on bank wire transfer or deposit cryptocurrency or Visa, MasterCard from anywhere in the world, okay? And so let's say you're in the Caribbean, you're in Bermuda, right? And you have, let's say you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin on Coinbase. Hey, I want to earn a few $1,000s a year in free Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's going up, I want even more Bitcoin. So I'm going to move it to Abra via the process I showed you. I click on deposit crypto. I get my deposit address. I move the Bitcoin over to Abra. Then, right, I can click on Abra Earn, right? And you can see that I can earn, let's say it says 4.5% on Bitcoin, 10.5% on dollars. So if you have USDC or Tether, USDT, whatever, any dollars will pay you 10.5% interest. We're paying 4.5 to 5.5% interest on crypto, which is fantastic. So I would basically transfer money. I click on the transfer button. And if I deposit Bitcoin into Abra, I can transfer that Bitcoin into my Abra Earn account, and I'm now earning that interest. It's super cool, very easy. I love Monday mornings. Now, Bill, you're crazy. Nobody loves Monday mornings. I love Monday mornings because every Monday morning, I get a push message, a push notification into my Abra app telling me how much interest I've earned on each one of these wallets. Super cool. I love it. Monday mornings are my favorite because why? It's raining money. It's raining money. Super cool. Check it out. All right. Abra Earn is, I think, one of the best products ever created in the crypto space. Only potentially to be bested by Abra Borrow. Now, this has been mind-blowing. All right. The interest in Abra Borrow. What is Abra Borrow? Abra Borrow is the ability to borrow dollars as stablecoins, right, which you can withdraw to your bank account, right? Borrow dollars as stablecoins against my Bitcoin or Ethereum holdings. So let's say that I have a bunch of Bitcoin, it's gone up in price, but I don't want to sell it. But I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, my kids got to go to college, I want to go on vacation, and I don't want to sell my Bitcoin, but I want to access a little bit of the gains responsibly, okay? So you can press on Abra Borrow at the bottom, and you basically get an instant loan. There's no credit check. You're simply using your Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral, right? And it's super. Let me press the apply button. I can choose. Now, if I choose True USD, I can easily withdraw the True USD to my bank account using the wire function that I showed you before. So I can wire the money to myself from anywhere in the world, right? So how much would I like to borrow? So let's say I want to borrow $5,000, okay? Right, and I want to borrow it for 12 months. And I'm going to use my Bitcoin as collateral. Right? I'm going to do, now it's going to ask me how much collateral I'm willing to give. The more collateral I give, the lower the interest rate. That's called loan to value. So for a for a $5,000 loan, right? If I choose 4% interest, that means that I need to give, I believe, $25,000 in collateral worth of Bitcoin. That's cool, right? So I press apply. Okay, and if this is supported in your geography or state, it's automatically going to give you the loan once you send in the collateral. Now it's asking me to go through the contract process. There's a very simple agreement. I can zoom in, read all the details. It's very short, very simple. I simply sign the agreement, and I'm good to go. That's it. Okay, so I press get started. Next page, and I click to sign. I sign it, and I'm done. All right. Now I'm not going to do this now because I don't need a loan right now, but that's how you do it. And then once you're done, or if you stop the process, you'll notice on the screen it shows you how to finish the process. It's going to ask you to transfer the collateral from Abra Earn or Abra Trade into the Abra Borrow wallet, and it's going to send you the USD into your Abra Trade account. And that's it. From there, you can withdraw the USD. So lots of you have done this. It's really cool. It's going to get better. We actually have a pretty interesting announcement next week. I think an amazing announcement actually next week about Abra Borrow and what's next. I think you're going to love it. Okay, so that's where we are with Earn and Borrow, and also Caribbean support. So that was the original question. I think somebody wanted to know if we support the Caribbean. And let me caveat by saying there's really no country in the world that we don't support at this point, right? We have customers from over 50 countries. So if actually 100 countries at this point, and so not every feature is available in every country. So for example, Ted is asking when Abra Earn will be available in Canada. So Ted, that's something that we're looking at. It requires a different type of licensing than what we have in other countries, and so that would be an example of a place where we don't yet have earnings, right? But almost like 50 countries have Abra Earn at this point. Okay, but the trading is available in pretty much every country in the world. So you can deposit in every country, you can trade, you can hold your crypto in Abra, and then in almost every country in every state. You can earn interest on your crypto. We've gone to great lengths to make this work in as many countries as possible. All right, let's see. So MGR4769 asks, I'm getting an error trying to relink my bank account. So if you're not getting a response because of all of the ID issues, then please go to the Abra support Twitter feed, Abra_support, send them a message, and we'll move you to the front of the queue. And you can CC me on Twitter, and I'll try to move you to the front of the queue. I apologize for that. It's just been a crazy week while we try to get through all of these support requests. Fernando, again, same thing. If you have applied for Abra Earn or have uploaded your ID and you're still waiting, please contact support@abra.com. If you're not getting a response, you can respond to the email you got back and remind the team that you need a response. Again, we normally get a few hundred to a few thousand of these emails a day. We're getting thousands upon thousands of support requests. We're adding staff as fast as we can to answer these questions. Okay. Jag is asking me to talk about security. So let me talk about that before we wrap up for today. Yeah. So the Abra, one of the things that I really love about Abra is how secure the Abra app is. I have all of my cash and all of my crypto in my Abra app. I also have a second phone that I use to secure a lot of my stuff, particularly Abra, and I keep it. I don't carry it around. I actually keep it hidden, and so I keep. I have a demo app that I use, like you see here, to be able to do demos. But what I love about Abra is that in addition to so if I turn off my phone here, right, and I turn it back on, of course I use my Face ID to turn the phone on, so that it was instant. And then if I come back into Abra, I have to type in my PIN code, which you can't see on the screen, thankfully. And so there's a two-factor authentication there. I use Face ID plus the PIN code. Now, Abra has no access to your wallet, meaning that once the wallet on your phone is yours, there is a key on your phone, a private key, that only you have. Okay, that's what that recovery phrase is for. And if you get a new phone and you want to move the funds, you use the recovery phrase on the new phone to regenerate the wallet. That makes Abra ultra secure versus a lot of other services out there. Okay, so that's one of the reasons I really am super passionate about our model, because I find it really the most secure, but also the easiest to use. All right. Okay. So again, if you're having issues that I wasn't able to address, please send an email to support@abra.com. And Jeffrey asks, can the minimum loan amount be lowered? So the minimum loan amount, I believe, is $1,000. So I think you're confusing the Bitcoin price with the minimum loan amount. I'll check on that. But I believe the minimum loan amount is about $1,000. Okay. In terms of adding other coins to Abra Earn, that is something we're looking at. We're looking at adding staking to Abra Earn. That would give you Cardano and Ethereum. Nothing to announce there yet. The easiest way to use Abra Earn is just deposit your Bitcoin. We support Bitcoin, Ethereum. We support Lumens. We support Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and of course most of the stable coins. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's take one or two more questions, and then we'll give you the day back. So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure. We're here to help as much as we can. Popal asks, having an issue with ID verification on Android. Support is not responding. So Popal support is responding. They're just inundated with support requests right now, and we're trying to get through them as fast as we can. Let's see, June, same thing. Please follow up with support, and they will get back to you as fast as they can. And somebody's asking if we're going to have advanced order types on Abra and shorting. So we won't be doing shorting anytime soon, but we are looking at advanced order types such as limit orders, market orders, and the ability to have different types of order entry. So look for that in the near future. And Rafi asks, what about candlestick and indicators? So that's probably not something that we would do in the short term. We're not really targeting Abra for advanced traders. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible. And so hopefully that makes sense. And yes, Leaf mentions that Abra is hiring a lot of support people. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're hiring a massive amount of support people right now, just given the huge interest. So May was just an enormous month for Abra. We had record trading volumes, record deposit volumes. So we're taking all of the profitability of the company right now and plowing it back into the business as fast as we can to hire more staff, improve the product, more deposit options, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? All right. So yeah, thank you for the fantastic questions. The hour is up. So great show again. It's great because of all the questions you guys ask. This is why we do it. So the live stream will be up on all of the standard channels after this, so please share the link with your friends. Press the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Abra Global, Facebook at Go Abra Global, Instagram at Abra Global, et cetera, and you'll get all the latest updates and a lot of our commentary on what's happening in the crypto markets. We didn't get to the Ethereum news that I wanted to talk about this week. Lots going on in Ethereum. I'm going to focus heavily next week on Ethereum and some of the upgrades there. And I'm also going to be in Miami next week. Big Bitcoin show in Miami. Abra's hosting a big event. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. Hit me up. And have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week. And hopefully we'll be able to broadcast from